into Queens, but not really. It was just Nassau, Suffolk County, Long Island, and it was super busy.
Did they have a home base, or did they go to venues? Mostly?
They traveled. No venue of their own. They just traveled, various fundraisers, corporate events, private parties. So we performed in people's houses. We performed in catering halls. We performed in theaters. We were, you name it, we played it. And so that's what we did. And
what were the shows?
I just had a blast. Let's see. There was one that was, good question. I'm trying to remember what they were. One was, I think, an 80th birthday party, I think. One took place on the set of a Western movie being filmed. They were all murder mysteries.
All murder mysteries.
They were murder mysteries, so the audience had to figure out at the end, who committed the crime, and, we had to lead them through it and all that stuff. It was all audience interactive from beginning to end. We weren't just up on a stage. We were, in there with the audience, and we would joke around with them and go off book constantly so we can react to something that we would see going on at the table and let them, playfully pick on us and whatnot. I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it immediately, right at my very first show. I remember the first show vividly and just thinking, wow, this is fun. I can get into this. So,
and the characters you played?
They were, the first character I played was just life of the party type, a drunk. Come on, everybody, drink up. Let's drink up. And just doing a lot of that, and that was. And I don't drink, but I did find that was kind of my thing. I loved being that bridge between the cast and the audience, the guy that like almost like the go-between, and I love that interaction with the audience. I loved it. And I just got into that immediately. So I played parts that I was kind of stereotyped as that for a little while.
That guy,
which is fine with me. I was I was that guy over here.
That guy.
That guy.
Not this guy. That guy.
Not the first guy, but the second guy over there.
Of course. And so you stayed with them for a while. Now, what happened to the group eventually?
The lady that was running it. She wasn't. I thought it was interesting because we're talking about being creative. She just lost her feeling for it, and she decided to start running a troupe that was doing like live radio shows. And I stuck with her for that. I did that for a while. It was called V.O.I.C.E.S. We did pretty good on Long Island for a while, but it was a lot less money. But it wasn't about the money. We played libraries, we played private functions. It was a completely different crowd. It wasn't a party crowd going to see a fun murder mystery and drinking up. This was an artsy crowd. This were people who were interested in seeing a play and really listening closely and following a plot. So it was heavy drama. We did the original version of Jeckyll and Hyde. We did the original non-musical version of Phantom the Opera. We did a lot less known shows, like an Irish play called The Corn is Green. We did a lot of heavy dramas that which was very interesting. Again, it feeds the creative side. It's not always about the money. It's about entertaining and thought provoking, and again, being creative with a team of people and creating something interesting. So I did that for a few years and really, really loved it. Played roles I never thought in a million years I would play. I played the Phantom in the non-musical version of Phantom. Played the Jeckyll and Hyde. Is not Dr. Jeckyll and Mr. Hyde in the original play is not. He's not the main character. There's the inspector, the policeman that kind of investigates the whole thing. He's the main character. His name is Utterson. That was my role. So I got parts that I normally wouldn't have gotten. Became familiar with shows that I never would have heard of otherwise. So that was interesting, but then the lady that was running that, she eventually just retired, and I did. I missed the dinner theater. I missed the murder mysteries. So that I just me and another fellow who were in the murder mysteries with this other group with Murder's View, we just kind of looked at each other and said, well, why don't we do it? Mm-hmm. So, and I had no writing experience, no directing experience whatsoever. But we tried. We wrote one script and we directed the show together, and we went out and did it for a year or so. It wasn't very good. But
what year was this?
This was 2002. So we had some growing pains. We had, it was kind of learning as we go. And then we did it for about a year, and then the guy I started with, he decided to move on and do other things. He just wasn't what he thought it would be, so he moved on. I stuck with it. I worked with some various people, whether it was directing or booking shows or even writing shows. Eventually, writing a few things that I thought, hey, this isn't bad. And again, never in a million years thought I would write or direct. It was never something I'd ever thought of. But I just felt I had seen one or two other companies that would do murder mysteries, and I just didn't think they were very good. And the people that I worked with were talented people. They were really good at this type of theater, and I just didn't want to stop doing it. So I just figured, all right, let's try it. Let's see if we can do it. And so eventually, wrote a few scripts that I thought were really pretty good.
And it was held on all murder mysteries.
These are all dinner theater murder mystery shows. Yeah, comedic murder mysteries. Of course, it's not a don't blink or you'll miss something. Right. It's not Shakespeare. It's not Agatha Christie. It's fun. It's slapstick. It's silly. It's meant to be it's a party atmosphere. Yeah. It's perfect for fundraisers and birthday parties or team building exercises. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And now, as far as directing, how do you approach directing? Like, you've never directed anything. Do you read books up on it, or take any classes, or just say based on what I've seen other directors do?
Yeah, that was a lot of it. I always approached any type of show I was in like a class. I would really. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had my fun, and I was, I love joking around with everybody in the shows. But I would go into any show I was in, whether it was even children's theater. I've done a lot of children's theater. I played the father in High School Musical for, at one theater, which is nothing. It's a silly kids thing. But I always just listened to the directors, even what they were saying to other actors, just hearing what they had to say and just kind of taking it in. I'm sure, as an actor yourself, I would think you would agree with that. It's always a learning process. Mm-hmm. It's never okay. You never stop. There's always something to pick up, always something to learn.
Absolutely.
Even watching the other performers,
mm-hmm.
Watch to see. What I could steal. Not I'm joking.
I know.
But I like the way he said that. Yeah. I got to remember to say that. Or say it like that, or approach the character that way. That, like I mentioned earlier, this group Murder's View would have two shows running at once.
Wow.
So we would, and both casts would rehearse together. So I would watch the guy playing the same role that I'm playing. He's playing it. I'm over here in Nassau County Saturday night. He's in Suffolk County playing it somewhere else. So I would watch that guy in rehearsals too. Oh, I like how he did that. I should try that. Excuse me. I always approached it as almost like a class. Every type of show, every type of film, whatever it is I was doing, I would just approach it as a class. And I think that helped me. And doing dinner theater for several years before I was doing it myself, I always watched the audience as I'm watching the cast, because it's easy to get lost in that type of theater, because because you're trying to keep the audience entertained, you're trying to interact with them, but you don't want to throw anything off where we are in the script, and believe me, there's been plenty of times things get thrown. Mm-hmm. So I would just I just watched the cast. I watched the audience. So I picked up a lot. So when I started directing, it was really just sharing what I know. Be careful of this, because these shows are in the round most of the time too. They're up on a stage because you got to walk in and out of the audience and engage them. Right, yeah. So there was a lot of that. Don't stand in one spot too long because you're always blocking somebody. Keep moving. Make sure, and comedic timing, teaching that. Don't say the line too fast because they're going to laugh here. So make sure you wait. Or when the murder happens in a show, when you pull your gun out, don't just keep it here. You got to hold it up so everybody sees it. That kind of thing. Just sharing what I was picking up, and it worked. It worked. And eventually, after working with several people, I started working with somebody new in 2012, and we started Knock 'em Dead Comedy. The scripts were mine. I wrote them. I had help from other people, but they were my scripts. So I was just able to take the scripts and my knowledge and teamed up with his name is Eric Shevlin. He's my partner in Knock 'em Dead Comedy, and between his business sense and my product, we Knock 'em Dead Comedy not this year with the COVID, but we've been super busy working. We're doing at least 60 shows a year. We were this 2020. I think it was 2017 and 18. We had 80 shows a year. We were nice and busy, and we expanded. We were traveling into Jersey, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, and just loving every second of it. Really loving every second of it. Doing dinner theater, and we expanded. We do game shows as well.
Yes, I saw that.
Just having a great time. So, so it was. So I don't even feel like I'm directing. I'm just sharing with. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm rambling to your questions. Yeah. I don't even know if I'm answering your question.
Yeah, you are.
But directing. I just feel, and I don't feel like a director. I don't feel like you're the performer. I'm the director. You do what I say. I like I said before, I like the group atmosphere. I like input from other people. Hey, can I try this, or can we try that?
It's collaborating.
I like the collaborating feel, the team feel. So I will say at times, okay, well, I don't know if that's going to work. You're better off doing this, but so it's really just sharing what I know from doing this for so long. And I do feel at times I don't have much to do because we do get, in my opinion, some super talented people that have come through during the years, whether they're still with us or not. We've just, in and out, we've had some super talented people who get it and do a super job. So, and I've just been honored to have so many laughs with so many great people. So I just feel like I feel it's a group effort. And we even rehearse at Eric's house. We used to, try out rehearsing in theaters and, various places. But when you're in somebody's house, people are more relaxed. They're, and when they're relaxed, they get a little more silly, and so when we're up there rehearsing, they're gonna do silly things just out of silliness, out of just joking around because they're relaxed. And then they'll do something like, "Oh, hey, I know you're being silly, but that worked. Keep that in. Mm-hmm. Do that." And there's been a lot of things that people have done that we then, we then redid the script and, kept it in permanently, because again, they're just so talented. They come up with funny things. So, so so I don't always feel I'm directing. I just, a group effort with, a few people like myself just sharing our knowledge because we've been doing it for so long.
I want to backpedal a little bit. 2002, you got a serious diagnosis. What was that?
2002, I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. It's a bone cancer. I had a tumor wrapped around the outside of my femur bone. The femur bone is the bone in between the hip and the knee. It was my right leg, and it was a life changer. Like I said, I started doing dinner theater on my own in 2002. So we were just getting off the ground, and